Well, everyone, the iPhone XR is one of those iPhones that I've been saying for probably the last year now that it is one of the best phones you can buy brand new from Apple because of the price tag, because there's so many things else that are going with it. But one of the biggest things that is kind of throwing me off with the iPhone XR is essentially the fact that it may not be sold by Apple anymore for much longer. It's a 2018 phone and it's only getting older, but as most of you know, these iPhones can last for a very long amount of time. So what I'm saying is that the iPhone XR is kind of quirky. It's kind of a little bit different in this day and age, but that's not a bad thing. I actually think it's a pretty good thing for this type of device. Quirky doesn't necessarily need to mean like it's a bad phone. I think the main strange thing about it is that, with the iPhone 12s, with the iPhone 13s, it is going to be aged a little bit, but this phone is going to be one of the most impacted devices with the iPhone 13 lineup. The XS and the XS Max, even though they came out the same year, is not really going to be as impactful to those phones as the iPhone XR. And this mostly has to come down to the fact that Apple is still selling the iPhone XR brand new. And when you look at a phone, that's still being sold brand new from the Apple Store, you're going to see, if you walk into the Apple Store, the iPhone XR alongside the iPhone 12s, the iPhone 11s. And that's kind of a cool thing, but that's also kind of a bad thing because the iPhone XR may not be sold that much longer brand new. My imagination and what I see happening in probably the next year or so is that two things are going to happen. Once the iPhone 13s come out, Apple is going to stop selling all the iPhone 12s except the 12 mini. So they're going to have the iPhone 11 taking the iPhone XR spot, then the iPhone 12 mini, and then essentially the iPhone 13s. Now, if that doesn't end up happening, the other thing I see them doing potentially is dropping all the iPhone 12s and only keeping the iPhone XR, and then essentially having the iPhone XR maybe going down to $449 or something like that. I'm not 100% too sure. And then essentially the iPhone 12s will be there, but then there's going to be a huge gap. So I don't think that's going to happen either. I truly do think that XR both ways are going to go out. The iPhone 11 is then going to take its place, and then we're going to have the iPhone 11 taking that $499 price tag, and then the iPhone 13's taking, all the other price tags on top of that. So kind of a sad thing, but again, that's not really a bad thing. It's kind of an unfortunate thing if people are wanting to buy an iPhone XR anytime later. But other than that, the best thing about the XR is the speed of it, the battery. There's just so much going on with the iPhone XR that I made 100 million videos talking about it. But even now in 2021, this phone hasn't showed its age. There's been a lot of comparisons being done by a lot of other people showcasing that the XR is sometimes beating phones like the iPhone 11 and even the iPhone 12 in some areas. And I even saw it early on once I got my iPhone 12 that the iPhone XR was actually outperforming my iPhone 12 in terms of RAM management. So loading up the apps was faster on the iPhone 12, but actually loading back up the apps when it comes down to, the full RAM management and opening up apps and stuff like that, it was actually much faster, or at least it was able to load up more apps in the background on the iPhone XR than on the iPhone 12. So that was another pretty interesting thing I saw on that device. So I think ultimately, if I were you, and if you're coming from like an iPhone 6s or something like that, I would recommend buying an iPhone XR maybe in the used market since it's cheaper, but just keep in mind that this phone is only getting better over time, even though within the next couple of months, we're going to be seeing a lot of things with the iPhone XR, and especially it not being sold by Apple in the Apple Store anymore. Now, it's not a guarantee, but that's kind of what I see happening, and it happens every year. But I like the iPhone XR. I think it's a perfect phone for a lot of people, and even though it's a little quirky, I think it's perfectly fine for a lot of people out there, in my opinion. So that pretty much covers it up. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys can hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my other channels. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.